All right, Nick. As the Saints minicamp and OTAs roll on, Chris Olave, their first round pick, has looked really good. So good, in fact, a Hall of Famer's name has been bounced around as a comparison. What do you have on this?
Yeah, so Jared Dubin at CBS Sports talked to the New Orleans Saints and had some interesting takes on Olave and other first-round draft pick as well, Trevor Penning. Dubin writes, there is perhaps no NFL team more aggressive about securing the specific players at once in the NFL draft than the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans has routinely traded up over the last several years, looking to nab high-quality players to fill holes on its roster who will become premium contributors. In 2022, New Orleans did it again, trading up twice in the first round in order to land former Ohio State wide receiver Chris Olave at number 11 overall and former Northern Iowa tackle Trevor Penning with the number 19 pick. When you hear Saints director of college scouting Jeff Ireland's pro player comparisons for the two players, you understand why they seemingly moved heaven and earth to get them. So this is Jeff Ireland talking about Olave. Every time you would turn on the tape, you would see Chris Olave making a play in that game. And I like that. And so he reminds me of some players that have that play in our league. The Marvin Harrisons that were just silky smooth and effortless and the same body type. It doesn't look like they were running fast, but when we turn on the clock, it's like 4.3 speed. On Trevor Penning, Ireland went on to say, when I was in Miami, my first pick as the general manager of Dolphins was Jake Long. He was the first pick out of Michigan. Jake was 6'7" and 325. I remember the press conference after the draft, and I was like, well, he's technically a little flawed, and we got to get him better technically. And he ended up going to 4 straight Pro Bowls. I see this guy, talking about Penning, have the same technical flaws, but also having the same ability as someone like a Jake Long. All right, Miles, what do you think of this praise for Olave and Penning from the New Orleans Saints assistant GM?
Well, I think if you're a Saints fan and your assistant GM is saying, we're going to have a Marvin Harrison and a Jake Long on our team, you're pretty dang excited. Because if you get even half the production that those players put in their NFL career, it's 100% worth top 10 picks on players like that.
Oh, yeah.
So if you get them outside the top 10, which technically they got them right outside the top 10, but you got to be pretty excited. Olave always looked like a special player. He's a great route runner. He's got some nice speed after the catch. And then Penning, big, bulking, mauler type guy, a true beast of a man. You got to be pretty happy that they see this. They go into OTAs, go into minicamp, and I'm always like, it's your first round draft pick. They're not going to come out and say they sucked. But they could say, oh, well, he's new, he's learning the playbook, he's, getting better every day. No, these guys, they have high expectations for these players, and they're putting the pressure on them, and they seem to be exceeding the expectations. So I like that. I like hearing stuff like that. What about you?
I think you hit the nail on the head when you're talking about expectations and what the Saints organization has for both Olave and Penning. Obviously, they moved a lot of draft capital into the 2022 NFL draft to get Olave and then later Penning in the first round. I really, really like what the Saints are doing here by trying to hold those two players accountable. Sometimes, like you say, these rookies come in and the coaches try and slow play it a little bit and keep expectations down. For guys like Olave and Penning, they have a lot riding on them. Olave is going to be a huge part of that offense. Penning's going to eventually, hopefully, replace Armstead at tackle. They need these guys to be top-level contributors right away. And I kind of think of accountability and leadership. It reminded me of the Jocko Willink quote. He does the famous Jocko podcast, and he wrote books on leadership, the former Navy SEAL. I'm going to quote Willink here. He said, when setting expectations, no matter what has been said or written, if substandard performance is accepted and no one is held accountable, if there are no consequences, that poor performance becomes a new standard. It sounds like the Saints are trying to say, hey, you two guys, you're our first round picks. You're our future stars. The standard is elite. Terron Armstead, that is the standard. Michael Thomas level wide receiver, Chris Olave, that is the standard. And I think it's awesome what the Saints are doing here by forcing those two players who have the ability, both were, 3-year stars at their respective schools and obviously first round draft picks, have the ability to live up to those standards. And I think it's a great job by the Saints by pushing them in that direction.
Yeah, no, and I love that. Like setting the standard, making the standard be nothing but excellence. I think that goes a long way in any aspect, whether it's in your career, whether it's in your everyday life, or whether it's on the football field. That's a good way to live your life. If you set nothing but excellent as your standard, even if you fall a little bit short, you're pretty dang good. So that's a good move by the Saints to put that out there. And I'm really excited to see these guys play this season.
Well, and I think the other side of it too is both these guys, they weren't like, developmental prospects who didn't play a lot in college, but had a lot of physical tools. Both were 3-year starters. Obviously, Olave was the big name guy at Ohio State, which is, a football factory. They're basically competing against NFL guys every day in practice there at Ohio State. So it's not like these guys can't live up to that standard. This is an unrealistic standard to push them to. Demand this kind of high level accountability from your first round draft picks. And they can, if they don't get up to that, like you said, they'll get pretty close. And that's exactly what the Saints are hoping for.
All right, Nick, it's time to get your internet privacy back today on every device you own in any country you want. Don't let anyone but you control your internet. NordVPN keeps you safe from prying eyes wherever you go online with their military-grade encryption. Is your favorite Netflix or streaming content blocked in the US? You can simply connect to one of the many countries available with NordVPN and get the access you need.
That's right, Maya. So right now, get our exclusive NordVPN deal here at nordvpn.com/SMI. It's risk-free now with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, get that exclusive deal, nordvpn.com/SMI.